Hello and welcome to another episode of Bodied, the Cloud9 Fancast. I'm your host Havokpus, and as always, I'm joined by frozencreek.
Yeah, we're back to regular programming for the week, and an exciting announcement for all those who listened to my short ramblings about college basketball the past 2 weeks. Michigan State is in the Final Four, so I'm flying high. And actually, I'm not going to be able to watch the games this weekend because I will be at the Final Four, and because we play on Saturday. So
Oh, excitement!
hopefully
I
it goes
know, I
well.
know. Auburn as well, from my home state, is in the Final Four. So
Yes, Auburn's on the other side of the bracket
I want to
for
see them
Michigan
lose
State.
though because I hate that school. Uh,
Yeah, I think you most likely will, but I guess that's why they play the games.
that's true. Well, let's get started. I have some fun little battle royale news. First up, big congrats to our Rules of Survival team. They placed first in the RGS EU Cup. They played a bunch of matches. I think it was over the weekend, or the past weekend maybe, and they got first place, which is great. Also, the Apex Legends team has been doing all right actually. They've been placing top 10, within the top 10. I think we also got 5th place, so top 5 in a few events recently. So I think C9's Battle Royale arm is actually doing pretty well. PUBG is usually killing it. Rules of Survival is good, and our Apex Legends team is doing all right too. So
Yeah, the Rules of Survival team. It was actually not a game I'd heard of until a couple of weeks ago, but I've been trying to tune in, and they've looked a really good overall. So shout out to them.
yeah, for sure. I hope that they can still do well. But everything is not all sunshine and rainbows, Frozen. Things are about to get sad real quick. Because CSGO is once again in a death spiral that may not be able to recover from. Kiyoshima, probably one of our best players, outside of when we had Flusha. But before all this craziness happened, like our 3 best players were Automatic, Flusha, and Kyo. And everyone was like, "Wow, this roster is really good. They can definitely do some work if they can have a consistent roster." Then they were just like, "Nah." Flusha decided to take an absence away from the scene to kind of, just be by himself. Kyo, I guess, wanted to leave. Whatever his reasonings were. But so in his place we have Cajunb. So now the roster is Automatic, Rush, Golden, Cajunb, and then as a stand-in for whatever event we're at next is Vice. So once again, C9 is back to having no consistency in the roster, and a new unknown in the form of Cajunb, who I've looked around on Reddit, and Reddit armchair analysis are on like everything, right? But people have been saying this is not a good move. People are saying that this will not help our situation, like, at all.
Yeah, it is a weird kind of pickup, but I guess it kind of perhaps is kind of more of a revealing of the future where we're going to have um a mixed up squad that isn't consistent for the time being, and that I think that they're probably building towards something in the future, but they don't exactly have a plan for the present,
I mean,
which is why we're seeing this.
I don't even know if they have a plan for the future, considering this happens essentially every other month, and you can't really have a plan for the future if you're pretty much constantly having to work through, just stand-ins or trial-based players that you will inevitably ship out to another team within like the next month, right? Like, so you'll do an event and have a player. By the time the next event's about to come around, you'll lose them. I just don't understand, I think. It might just be really unfortunate timing for the CSGO team, or it could just be that, well, like, one rumor that I have saw, and one theory that people are creating is that C9 sees that it is a lot cheaper to function through stand-ins and temporary signings rather than keeping someone on like a permanent salary. Like say Automatic, for instance. Automatic has a permanent salary. You're not going to let go of Automatic. But then say like Keo or Vice or for instance, look at Vice or some of our other stand-ins, for instance. They'll play an event for like one event, maybe two events. But then their time is up. C9 says thanks. Well, maybe we'll see you again. Well, maybe not. And that's maybe to save money. And from like financial standpoint, that makes sense. But I think that in terms of appeasing a fan base and trying to actually be successful, I think you really are missing the mark there. I wish I knew what C9's grand design was with the CSGO squad. But right now, I just can't determine it, especially if like we have basically experienced a non-coherent roster for like a legit almost a full actual year. The Earth has went around the sun one time, and C9 has still not had a consistent permanent CSGO roster.
Yeah, I guess I can see where you're coming from, but I wonder. I would hope that they would take into account like scouting costs, training costs, the cost of doing contracts, like if they're signing on bonuses and stuff. So I don't know if in the long run it would be more costly to get these stand-in players or not, because they're probably leaving a lot of money on the table too at tournaments by not having a consistent roster. But I would also say we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe Cloud9 expects a CSGO to die within like a year or two and don't want to throw a bunch of money at it. Or maybe they're working behind the scenes to scout talent, upcoming talent to sign to the team, and that they're just signing stand-ins for the time being until they can get themselves and these other players to a point where they're ready to be full-time players and such. So I think that with the League of Legends team, they've shown that sometimes it just takes some time to get things correct. Normally it doesn't take this long, but I think that the management has shown that they'll get it right way more than they'll get it wrong. And I'm hoping that this is just part of a bigger long-term plan too.
Yeah, that very well could be. I definitely could see it being that they're either considering of pulling out of CSGO or anticipating that it won't be as lucrative versus the franchised esports that they're a part of. League of Legends and Overwatch, it could be that they're seeing a lot of return on their investment and everything through being in a franchise stable league where the payout is not dependent on how you perform. And so that money versus, some CSGO tournament money, that could very well be enough to offset maybe C9 just going, CSGO isn't lucrative enough anymore. We don't technically need it, and we could be using this money to put more into our franchise teams, or we could look to maybe breaking into a new scene that would maybe be more lucrative and have a more stable future. But I don't know where the future leads for CSGO, but I'm just wanting to at least see a stable roster and have it last for more than a month. I just want C9 to just stick with 5 dudes and then say like, all right, we're going to have a year and we're just going to stick with these guys and see what we can get done within a year, instead of what they're doing currently is sign a player, lose a player, sign a player, lose a player. It just feels very like frustrating and really tiring for just this merry-go-round of signing news and whatnot.
I know, like, you're right, but I don't know. I feel like this is a time to trust that there's a plan in place, but they haven't shown any signs of having a plan in place. So I can kind of see why a lot of the CSGO fans would be upset.
I
Yeah, with
I
what's
mean,
going
I do
on.
agree.
But yeah, I guess in that sense, only time will tell. You're right. He doesn't seem like the best pickup on paper, so we'll just have to hope that it's a stopgap to something better, I guess.
Yeah. But the future waits, and we'll have to wait and see. Looking on to some more uplifting news, the British Hurricanes are just crushing it. They 4-0'd Young and Beautiful in their latest Overwatch Contenders match, and I believe, looking at the standings, they are currently undefeated, which is great. I think the pickups that they made prior to the start of the Contenders season have been working out super duper well. I think that the people that were left over from season 2 and the new people that they brought in for season 3 are making for a really good Overwatch team. And it looks like they'll probably win another Contenders playoffs if the stars align right and the team continues to just wreck everybody.
I mean, it's looking good so far. So I guess at that point, you have to imagine that, or imagine how long it's going to be, but before we see some of them on the big stage with the regional or with the home sites coming in next year to Overwatch League, because I don't think they can go by with so few European teams. So
Oh
I
yeah,
can
yeah, for
imagine
sure.
this
It would be great to see
too.
more British Hurricane players just picked up into the Overwatch League. I think a lot of them definitely have potential considering how they're playing together. Last season, we had a few in between Overwatch League season 1 and season 2. We had a few Hurricane players get moved up, which was a really big deal. I can definitely see after this season of Contenders, maybe, or at the end of the second season of Overwatch League, a lot of other Contenders players move on up. But I'm really proud of them. I really like it when the British Hurricanes do well because they're definitely a team that I always like to see do well.
Yeah, that they're kind of like that native team that just kind of, or that native to their country performers. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they're native to the region, and like it's nice to see them kick ass
yeah, yeah,
and represent their country and a region well.
yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of Overwatch League teams, Overwatch League Stage 2 starts, and I gotta say, Frozen, I'm actually worried because I saw a post where an Overwatch League player was giving an interview, or it was during a stream, and he said the meta for Stage 2 is still goats, which I'm really worried about because London does not look good on goats. And if we're having to see and sit through another stage of London just playing suboptimally because we don't have the best Reinhardt player, or we don't have a team that really works great on the team coordination aspect and everything, that's really worrying to me. Even if it's up against a team like the Florida Mayhem, or maybe some of the lesser Overwatch League teams, I'm really worried about how the London Spitfire is going to perform in Stage 2.
I mean, I think you should be, because London might just be considered one of the quote unquote lower teams at this point in time. I think that they're on the border of playoffs in general, but like if that's going to be the meta again and they can't adjust to it, then I think that there's going to be a lot to be concerned about, because they've had how long to practice this, and if they still can't play it, then that's on them.
Exactly. And I think another issue is that with all of the practice and scrimming that they had even prior to the season starting, and you saw how pivotal like a Reinhardt is and how pivotal the Goats meta is in general. The fact that they made they made no signings to better catch this and be prepared for this is also a bit confusing. Jester is an amazing tank on Winston, especially during the season 1 playoffs. Jester's amazing. I have no doubt about the team and their individual skill levels. You know, in the 2-2 meta, our team is fucking unstoppable. But with goats, I think that the team just has such a lower skill level because the coordination is just not their strong suit. You know, they hinge on individual plays working out really well and chaining those individual plays together. With goats, it's all about the whole unit acting as like one entity, and London really struggles with that. And Jester, when he has to play Reinhardt, he definitely struggles on that because his shields to block Earth Shatters aren't good. His Earth Shatters usually end up do not make big plays. Like other team, like if you were to watch London and then another team make like a Grav Shatter combo play, the other team, anytime they make like a Grav play or like an Earth Shatter combo play, they usually get a few kills. When London does it, more times than not, they don't get anything out of it. And that's really bizarre considering the raw talent that London has. You know, London should be able to perform better than this. So I really think they should just sign a Reinhardt player, you know, at least just to ensure that our Rein point of the GOATS comp at least is working at a top level. I think it's probably too soon for that now, but I think that London definitely needs to evaluate, I think, how to go about signing people in terms of how the meta changes, especially with how bad Blizzard has done in balancing the game in general.
No, I think you're right.
Sorry to like just go full rant mode, but
no, you're fine.
It had to be said.
Yeah, because the performances last stage weren't what we hold them up to, just based or not just based off their performances last season, but based off the names that we have on our roster. But they've had a couple weeks of practice, and they come in this week playing 2 matches. Friday they play the Florida Mayhem at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on Sunday they play the Atlanta Reign at 4:45 Eastern Standard Time. So we should know more of what the meta is, and if we found a way to play it by then. So
I think does Stage 2 also have Baptiste being released? Like, is that confirmed or not?
Think so. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I think that was one of the additions with the patch.
And I think that people were hoping that with Baptiste, along with the changes they were making with this patch, that GOATS would be done, and it would go back to more DPS-centric play. But it seems that isn't the case, or at least from the rumors that I saw, which, again, is just very worrying. For both Overwatch as a game and as an esport, as well as London.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to find out. Yeah. Week.
Well, let's move on from that to talking about some really exciting stuff with League of Legends. Both the Academy team and the LCS team will be facing off against TSM. I believe the Academy match is this Friday for the Academy MSI Championship, and does C9 play Saturday or Sunday for the semifinals?
Academy plays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, and then the Cloud9 proper plays at 5 p.m. Saturday Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And then the Team Liquid FlyQuest game is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday.
Also, just a quick aside, Steve is a rat coward for saying he'd pick TSM and then picking FlyQuest.
Is that what he said?
So on Twitter, as FlyQuest and Golden Guardians, I think it might have been during the TSM Echo Fox match, Steve tweeted out saying, "We picked TSM, baby," or something along those lines. And then when TSM won, surprise, surprise, Team Liquid picked FlyQuest. So Steve, not to get crass, but Steve has no balls. And instead of showing that his team is superior by sticking to his word, he picks the coward's way out, and it goes like, "Oh well, I'll pick the easy team." And I think that if you're gonna say stuff like that, like follow through with it. I think that kind of it makes me lose more respect for Steve as more of his decisions come about.
I mean, Steve's kind of always been a troll of some sort, so I don't blame him for the decision that he made. I missed that tweet, so I didn't.
I mean,
know what
I
was
don't
going to
blame
happen,
him.
so.
Like playing FlyQuest is, of course, like you want the weaker opponent to secure finals, but I don't know, stuff like that. It's just like, come on, man, don't say one thing and do another. That's annoying.
And don't troll the team that you're going to end up playing against and give them a locker room material either.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because he kind of slighted both TSM and FlyQuest in that tweet. So that will be an interesting match. But beforehand, we have a couple of matches against TSM.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say really about Academy. I haven't paid the highest attention to it, but seeing how the Academy boys have been playing, I think we should win. Golden, like everyone, I think has just improved so much. Like even looking at Keith when he was playing against Clutch Gaming, his play on Jinx was actually really good, and Jinx is somewhat of a difficult ADC to like play. Keith has looked like he's actually really improved under C9, and part of me even thinks that if Sneaky were to retire, I wouldn't actually be all that opposed to having Keith be his replacement.
I think I probably would be kind of upset, but I'm not exactly sure if that's the position that they want to import on. So it might be one of the better alternatives, but I think it's too early to say because Sneaky's pretty young still.
Yeah, and Sneaky hasn't dropped off at all in his skill level, which is also the amazing thing. Like he's been playing since competitive League of Legends basically started, and it's actually very interesting that he hasn't really fallen off. If anything, I think this season he's maybe gotten better, or that he's had the opportunity to be better since we're no longer funneling so much money into the mid lane, and we're actually being able to pay attention to side lanes now, since Niski is a very independent, kind of mid laner who doesn't need as much resources. So it's really interesting that Sneaky is able to play at such a level and do it for so long.
Yeah. He's 25, so hopefully he still has a year or two left in him. It doesn't seem like he wants to step down yet, and I haven't heard anything otherwise. So at this point, it's all just speculation because our academy team could very well just be shipped off to an actual LCS team this year. So according to some comments that Jack apparently made on Hotline League, or somebody made on Hotline League. So, but yeah, let's talk about the match here a little bit. This Cloud9 Academy roster is a team that won the regular season by 3 games. So those 3 games over TSM. But if I remember right, TSM Academy actually beat Cloud9 Academy at least once throughout the regular season. So it's not like we're playing as someone that we smashed over and over again.
Yeah,
I do expect it to be pretty competitive, actually. So, and I especially think it's going to be a little more competitive just due to the fact that Golden Glue and Blabber, their main Cloud9 contributions are right now are to the actual Cloud9 proper playoff effort, where we have a set 7 man rosters. So I have to imagine that they have been scrimming with the Cloud9 team more than the Academy team at this point, because while it would be nice to win Academy, beating TSM in playoffs is more important than beating TSM Academy.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that as long as everyone plays well, you have Kumo to also fall back on. So I think the Academy game shouldn't be too much to worry about. I am, however, worried about the semifinals match this weekend. TSM's looking really, really strong. They had a really rocky start, but it looks like everyone has really stepped up. Broken Blade has he had some iffy games, but he's definitely hit his stride and is looking really good. Bjergsen is as good as ever. Acadian has maybe become the jungler that TSM has always needed, considering their curse with how they get junglers. And Sven and Smoothie have definitely stepped up. So it'll be a really tough game. I don't think I can even call how it will end, but it will be difficult for sure. I think C9 needs to look into just helping out their side lanes, because I think that that's really the important matchup, since TSM has really strong side lanes. So if you can get Licorice and or Sneaky ahead, with also not having Sven do some silly calls in off the face of the planet, I think C9 can win. I don't think it's unwinnable. During the regular season, we 2-0'd TSM this split, so the head-to-head is there. I think it's just a matter of making sure that we are practiced and ready for TSM, and just making sure that all of our strategies and all of our plans are there.
Yeah, I feel like this is a matchup that we're going to win in the mid game. Everybody's been talking about TSM's early game and how good their late game is, because all their games still go super long. But I feel like that there's a period right between like 20 or 18 and 25 minutes where Cloud9 can really get ahead and crush this TSM team. I'm looking at the actual stats from the regular season, and Oracle's Elixir has Cloud9 as the highest early game rating team, and then the second highest mid to late game rating team, right behind Team Liquid and right ahead of TSM. So I feel like a lot of our strengths match up pretty well with theirs, and I think that we've shown that we can take them late game, like we did in the second matchup against them. And I think it's really going to help that we have a side selection. So I think that's going to be one of the bigger factors of getting that first round bye, and being able to see what strats TSM pulled out in their quarterfinals matchup too.
Yeah, for sure. I think a big reason why C9's been so effective is Sven Skaren. I think he maybe leads the league in terms of deaths, but I think even though he dies, I think all of his deaths are very useful, because if he dies, C9 either trades or gets something more for it, and he's a really good initiator. So it's not like he's dying without purpose, right? So I think that as long as Sven Skaren can get into a really good groove and make some really good plays early, I think that we should be in a good spot to win. It'll be tough, but I think we can win.
Oh no, I think that TSM is like the betting's favorite right now, but I don't.
Oh really?
See why that is, considering Cloud9 hasn't exactly faltered at all, and Cloud9 has also looked really good. So I mean, that's why they play the games, and why we're meeting in playoffs yet again. It would be nice to get another win against them, and then another shot at Team Liquid, because I think this roster with all 7 players has a lot of potential, just based off what we saw at Worlds last year, and I'll split the split. So hopefully Reaper doesn't get too cute with his drafts, and I don't see any reason that we shouldn't win this matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Frozen, do you have any predictions?
I think Cloud9 is going to win 3-1.
Ooh, bold. Oh man, I can't. I don't even know if I can call it. That's going to be a really tough game. I will say that C9 will win. I can't call in terms of the exact number of games. I just want us to go to finals again and beat Team Liquid and show that Snake Jensen who's boss.
Yeah,
Why did he hurt us Frozen? Why did he?
I agree too, and I feel like that we do have a shot against Team Liquid. We threw it away a little bit last time, so I don't see why we can't match up with them again. So
For sure.
These are the games that we want to play as Cloud9 fans. Like, we're Cloud9 fans, and not just to beat TSM, but to beat everybody and be on top. And this is a really good opportunity for the organization to show that not only can they do it the right way, but they can still win. So I'm excited. I'm really sad I can't watch it.
Yeah, it should be a good match. I think I will be able to get off work, so I can watch it. So it should be good.
Yeah, if not, we could see a grueling 5-game matchup. So even if you can't get out in time, I'm sure you'll be able to catch a little bit of it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna be all of us for today. So thanks for listening. Be sure to tune into those playoff matches to see how the team does. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at C9 Bodied. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Let's get a Carbon 12 victory this weekend.
Goodbye.
Bye.